Pope John the 23rd was born Angelo Roncalli in 1881, fourth in a peasant family of 14 in a small village in Bergamo, Italy. When Roncalli was 19, still too young to be ordained, he received a scholarship to study in Rome. During his first semester, he became friends with another student named Ernesto Buonatti. Buonatti would later assist in Roncalli's first Mass, and the two would remain close friends throughout their lives. Unfortunately, Buonatti was one of the leading modernists in Italy. He was excommunicated 3 times. The third and final time he was personally excommunicated by the Pope. When Roncalli was 24, he became personal secretary to Bishop Radini Tedeschi. Tedeschi, as you will recall, was close friend and confidant of Cardinal Rampolla. Tedeschi was expected to become Secretary of State when Rampolla became Pope, but Rampolla didn't become Pope. Pius X did. And soon after, Rampolla resigned, and Bishop Tedeschi was sent packing by the new Pope to Bergamo. From Bergamo, he would develop his protege Roncalli, who would one day succeed where Rampolla failed. In 1913, the Holy Office put Father Roncalli, now a seminary lecturer, under observation for his unorthodox views and suspected modernism. In 1924, Father Roncalli began to lecture at the Lateran Seminary in Rome, but was abruptly relieved of his duties 3 months later for drawing from the occult philosophies of Rudolf Steiner. You will remember that Steiner was a member of the OTO and a close associate of Helena Blavatsky, founder of the Theosophical Society. Roncalli was kept under close scrutiny by the Holy See, as well as the CIA and the FBI, until his papal election in 1958. Upon his election, Roncalli would take the name John the 23rd. This would not seem unusual to the average person. However, there was in fact another very infamous papal imposter named John the 23rd, who reigned from 1410 to 1415. So infamous, in fact, that no pope had chosen the name John in well over 500 years. Hardly a name a man with known connections to modernism and the occult would choose to quell scrutiny. Maybe this name was meant to tell us something. Pope John the 23rd's first act as pope was to make 23 new cardinals, among them his close friend Giovanni Montini, who Pius XII refused to make cardinal for reasons we will discuss later. Montini would become Pope Paul VI in 1963. On January 25, 1959, 3 months into his pontificate, John the 23rd announced that he would call an ecumenical council, telling friends he was spontaneously inspired. It would become known as Vatican II, the disastrous effects of which will need to be left for another movie. Let it suffice to quote Cardinal Siri, who called it the greatest mistake in history. During his pontificate, John the 23rd began introducing small, seemingly insignificant changes to the Mass. For instance, adding the name of Saint Joseph to the canon. Changes that, in hindsight, appear to be acclimating the faithful to changes in the liturgy. Changes that would culminate in the complete destruction of the Tridentine Latin Mass in 1969. According to canon law, those who join Freemasonic secret societies lose their membership in the Catholic Church. Those who join Masonic sects or other societies of the same sort, which plot against the Church or against legitimate civil authority, incur ipso facto an excommunication. Milanese journalist Pierre Carpi claims to have absolute proof that while Roncalli was in Istanbul as apostolic delegate, he was instituted into the 18th or Rosicrucian degree of Freemasonry. He gives plenty of details in his book, The Prophecies of John the 23rd, including the fact that Roncalli took the name Johannes at his initiation. So, when Roncalli took the name John as Pope, was he sending a little message to his Masonic brethren they had captured the papacy? After his posting to Paris, members of the Presidential Guard Républicain reported that Roncalli, dressed in street clothes, regularly attended the Thursday evening meetings of the Grand Orient Masonic Lodge. Several high-ranking Freemasons had some interesting things to say about Pope John XXIII. The sense of universalism that is rampant in Rome is very close to our purpose of existence. With all our hearts, we support the revolution of John XXIII. Yves Marcedon, 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. I know Cardinal Roncalli very well. He is a deist and a rationalist, whose strength did not lie in the ability to believe in miracles and to venerate the sacred. High-ranking Freemason, Carl Jacob Burckhardt. To put Pope John XXIII's actions regarding communism in perspective, it will do well to look at these statistics from the United States House Judiciary Committee. Between 1917 and 1959, the number of Catholics murdered by Soviet regimes breaks down like this: 2.5 million faithful, 12,800 priests and monks, 55 bishops, imprisoned or deported, 10 million faithful, 32,000 priests, 199 bishops. In addition, roughly 16,000 priests were forced to abandon the priesthood. Nearly 32,000 churches and seminaries were closed, and all Catholic organizations were dissolved. With that information firmly planted in your mind, try to comprehend the following facts about John XXIII. On his 80th birthday, John XXIII received a telegram from the Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev, congratulating him and wishing him good health and success in his noble aspirations for peace on earth. On March 6, 1963, John XXIII received Nikita Khrushchev's son-in-law and daughter at the Vatican in a private meeting arranged by Italian Communist Party Secretary Palmiro Togliatti. This well-publicized visit earned the Communist Party in Italy an extra 1 million votes in the national election. John XXIII also invited communist observers to attend the Second Vatican Council with the solemn promise that there would be no criticism of communism. And in fact, those fathers that did attempt to do so were politely told to sit down and be quiet. Here is just one of John XXIII's favorable remarks towards communism. I see no reason why a Christian could not vote for a Marxist if he finds the latter to be more fit to follow such a political line and historical destiny. French Communist Party leader Maurice Thorez sent a glowing report about Roncalli to the Kremlin. Roncalli was an ideal prelate. He understood Marxism like a Marxist, and if the Communist Party had not been sponsoring a program of militant atheism, he might have been the best Christian comrade in the Roman Catholic Church. After his death, John XXIII's body was injected with 10 liters of embalming fluid to neutralize any decay by Gennaro Goglia and his colleagues. His body was also covered with wax.